Hey everybody, it's your boy George. I'm just here to check in on y'all and make sure you're all doing okay and everything. And here to talk about a topic today. I'm here to talk about waiting and faith. This is something that's close to God in a way. The idea that you have to wait for things you want. Uh, I'm not here to necessarily disagree with God here, but waiting is pretty hard, and hope and having hope in the waiting game of things and it can be very hard and challenging. One person that really waited in the Bible was Abraham. Abraham had to wait a long time before God gave him a son. Uh, that was part of the covenant between God and Abraham, is that he kind of had to work in the fields and wait and be tested until God decided he was ready to have a son, and he had many sons. In fact, uh, waiting's pretty hard, but eventually, you wait for something and you wait for something and you wait for something. And my philosophy on it, at least a little, is that you can wait for something, then all of a sudden you don't really need it anymore. You can be addicted to waiting for something, whether it be like a promotion or a girlfriend or a new car, and you can stand in line for it all you want. But the moment you get it, you're just like, oh well, did I really need that, or was it really worth the wait? Like, you want it instantaneously, that's when you want it. But the more you wait for it, the more it becomes kind of like a thing which gets inside your head and makes you want it even more. And maybe you're just better off now with that kind of hope for the thing you want, because like I said, you wanted it instantaneously. You want it now. I know this is kind of not exactly what maybe God had in mind with Abraham and all the waiting he had to do. So I'm not saying waiting is necessarily bad, but I'm saying in light of faith, I guess that's where faith kind of goes wrong sometimes, is that you have to wait for the thing you want when you really want it just now or instantaneously. Like, if you're waiting for something, like, is it really love when you get it? If that person or that institution or whatever it is made you wait and wait and wait for the thing you want, I guess one doubt that might come to your mind is that really love? But I guess that doubt is kind of ramified by the fact that, like, maybe you can live without it at that point. Maybe you can live without the thing you want, because after that wait, do you really want it anymore or something? So I was just thinking, along the lines of waiting, like maybe it's better to be a little faithless. Be like, maybe I don't really need the thing I'm waiting for, or whatever, and maybe that brings you a little bit of peace of mind or something. So another thing I was thinking is, something about the importance of self love. I think that a lot of people in our generation struggle with self love. I wanted to talk about it briefly. A lot of people give self love a bad rap. But self love is actually one of the hardest things you'll ever have. Even when everybody else doubts you or hates you or whatever it is, self love is kind of the thing that is very hard to have there. We all, by nature, want love from other people, and that's okay. It's okay to want love from other people. I'm not saying it isn't. One sec. But in other words, self love can be very hard to have. It's one of the hardest things to have for anybody. So if in life you're required to have a lot of self love, this could be anybody who's been through a lot of struggles or divorces or being cheated on, or whatever it is, or in life. You should respect yourself, because you've had to have that self love. You've been required to have that self love by God. So definitely respect yourself if you've had to have had a lot of self love, and that wasn't necessarily easy for you to have it. Um, so yeah, I talk about when I got off the tracks and everything. When I got off the tracks instead of staying on them, it didn't really matter because the train was on the left side of the tracks or whatever. But it was in light of the idea of self love, and I think self love, I think self love is a great sign of courage, actually. It takes a lot of courage to go every night without the one you want, or go every night being alone, or whatever it is. Go every night going through a tough divorce or whatever it is. And through all that, like, you want the love of the thing you want, but you have to realize that in having self-love and in staying in the ring and fighting your best fight there, the good fight as it were, you're having a lot of courage, and you should respect yourself a lot for having the self-love that you have. So don't disqualify self-love as stupid or pointless or dumb. You know, really embrace the fact that you've had a lot of self-love. Um, or when life doesn't go your way, you know, embrace the fact that, like, uh, you've had to have a lot of self-love through the trials and tribulations that God is putting you through. In other words, like, always be obedient to God too, but always realize that or try your best to be obedient to God or whatever, but always realize that self-love is next to none. Don't sell self-love short of what it's worth. So have self-respect for yourself when you have had to had self-love. And that's kind of what I want to say about it. You know, if you lose self-love, you can really fall into pitfalls in life and be driven into like very bad places and dark places. So never forfeit self-love. That's why it's so important to have. You know, you can ask for others to love you, but when they don't, you need to have great self-love. Never forfeit that self-love. In other words, that part of yourself which loves itself is very close to God and all the like. So, and that's all I really had to say for tonight. I hope all of y'all stay close to God and stay close to yourselves and love yourselves as best you can, and don't hate on other people and don't hate on yourself. Don't give yourself a hard time. And if you're waiting on something good, but if you come to the conclusion that thing's not meant for you, just forget about it and live your best life without it. And all right, peace out, everybody. Thank you.